Hey guys, what's up? This is Pants R Dragon, and today we're going to be doing a patch 5.13 rundown of the changes. And as you can see, I've redone the format of the videos, so from now on it's going to look something like this, and hopefully you guys enjoy this new format. Anyways, let's go down some of the most important changes of the patch. Although do take note that in this video I won't be going over the ability power items except for Runeglyph, just because I feel like there's a lot I can go in depth on, and so there's going to be another video just solely based on the ability power items. And to get to that video, you can click that annotation right there in the top left corner. Okay, so next up, let's talk a little bit about KALISTA. So this is the first time I've ever seen an AD carry get their basic attack AD ratio being lowered to 0.9. And I did do some math on her basic auto attacks at level 1. With no runes and masteries, this is going to do 51 damage per auto attack. And with runes and masteries, it used to be 65 damage per auto, but now it's going to be 62. And also the attack damage growth stat is kind of useless because you only get 4.5 AD more at level 18, so that's not that much. But I can see what they're trying to do with KALISTA and like making more emphasis on the attack speed build with the Runons and Blade of Ruin King. I think they felt that the Bloodthirster Runon's Hurricane was just too strong. So I think people will stop building that and, you know, start emphasizing on the attack speed build. And also you can't cast your Q anymore during mid dash, is gonna hurt too, because it did help for chasing down people, you know, getting that extra dash, and it was also a good skill to use in between your auto attacks. But now I just don't know where you're gonna put this in your combo, so I actually think this nerf actually hurts. And final opinion, I don't think the basic attack AD ratio hurts too much, since you can still do the Blade of Ruin King build with your Runon's Hurricane, but I do feel like that Q nerf actually hurt a lot. So maybe you might not see her, but there's a possibility that she'll still be good. Next up, let's talk a little bit about Kayle. So as you can see here, half of her E's magic damage is now a passive onto her melee auto attacks, and the ability power ratio is increased by 0.05. And so what do I think about these changes? Well, basically, I don't think it helps her too much in team fights except for like the ability power buff. Even then, 0.05 isn't that much. Like basically, it's just doubling the Spellblade Mastery. And as for the new passive, there's no way she's gonna go in melee form and, you know, auto attack someone to death. But I can see it being better for like CSing under tower, in the jungle when your E's off cooldown. But maybe Kayle jungle will actually come back with this new SATED DEVOURER. I could see it happening, but I'm not too sold on this new DEVOURER meta that might appear. And I'll go more in depth on this DEVOURER when we do get to that point in this video. Next up is going to be NAUTILUS, and right here, the damage on his E per level is going down to 35 instead of 40. So at max level, it's going to be 20 damage less, which is whatever. I feel like for support, it doesn't change him too much because he's really only all in. And probably when he's like level 9, he'll probably cast it twice when going all in. So like maybe he loses like 40 damage, but I feel like it's all in the AD carry's power to, you know, do all the damage. As for top lane, I do feel like it hurts his laning phase just a bit because it is his main harassing skill onto the enemy laner. But in the end, it doesn't really matter for mid game and late game because it's all about NAUTILUS giving out that CC. So yeah, it kind of just hurts the early game, but mid game and late game, you probably won't notice it. Next up, we're going to be talking about REK'SAI, and right here, her W's knockup radius is going down by 40. So this is pretty interesting. I think it's a nerf that might hurt her a lot. Like definitely her initiation power and peeling power is less threatening since it's a smaller radius, and so it could either have a big impact or like a small impact and she's still going to be good. I'm not sure. I mean, the knockup radius did get cut like 1/5, so it could be pretty big, who knows. But I feel like she still will be good because she's still naturally tanky with her passive. She has excellent clears. This won't affect her clears, of course. She's still an early game jungler. She still has her tunnels to get those fast clears, and she has her teleport with her ultimate. So yeah, I still think she's going to be in the top 5, but maybe not number 1. Next up is going to be Fringe. So right here, Fringe is getting some free stats for his magic resist. He's getting like 500 gold worth of magic resist, so that's pretty good. And now the root duration does scale with levels on his E. Although I've never really seen a Fringe flip someone into his glue, but that's probably because I never see him. But I do know there's a trick where you can cast your E, and then while that guy is being flinged, you can cast your W and you can root someone. It's actually pretty hard, and I can only do it like 50% of the times. But 2 seconds is obviously a long time, so I mean if people did master this trick, I think he'd be really good. And I mean there's kind of a tank meta going on in like the top lane, so I could see him, you know, being played and picked up again. It's just I think we have to wait a bit before someone plays him in like the LCS. Next up is going to be several bug fixes on SYNDRA, and I feel like with these bug fixes she's actually going to be played again, and also it says here that units who are stunned won't be knocked back, so that means she can get her burst off a bit quicker. because you know she doesn't have to walk forward a bit. So this helps for like ganks and picking off people. And the reason I do believe that she's going to be played again is because a lot of people stopped playing her when they like kind of did something to her E, and then like there were a bunch of bugs on it, so she was just like really unreliable. But now with this, I feel like she's going to be more reliable. But then again, it's like kind of the tank meta right now, and it's all about control mages and stuff, and not about your bursty assassin champs like SYNDRA and Lissandra. So maybe there's hope, but don't count on it. Next up, let's talk about the Devourer. Okay, so if you haven't heard, basically this is going to be the new Feral Flare. And unlike the Feral Flare, this starts stacking once you do get the Devourer, so do take note of that. And also, it seems like they want stacks to be more contested. As you can see, Scuttle Crab now gives 2 and Epic Monsters give 5. And the magic damage is also increased by 5. And if you guys didn't know, this item was really broken when the season 5 was about to start, because it had like 40 magic damage on hit when you first bought it, so that was really powerful. And now it's just like 3/4 of it, so I think it's a decent item, and you'll probably see more of it too. And now it just seems like all types of junglers are viable again. That's what I predict. So you're going to see a mix up of like late game Devourer meta or Cinder Hulk stuff, and then Runeglaive Nidalee along with mid Runeglaive Ezreal. This game doesn't make sense anymore, but so some champions to think about with using this Devourer would be Shyvana, Master Yi, even Kayle. And I did try this with Kog'Maw in the PvE server with Runon's Hurricane, and the Phantom auto attack doesn't work with the 2 other bolts, I think. Only main auto attack, so no Kog'Maw jungle. But the only champion I did try this a lot with was with Master Yi, and it did feel really strong once I did get the SATED Devourer, because you know, double strike, Wuju style, true damage, etc. So yeah, it's a pretty good late game item for these Devourer junglers. I was farming a lot these games, and I think I got it around like 22 minutes, but you know, I feel like in a real game you'd probably get it around like 30 or 32 minutes depending on how the game's going. If your team is being dominated though, I feel like you won't ever get it, probably wait till like 42 minutes or something like that. That was actually a really big problem with Feral Flare back in the day. The good news about this item is that you get the magic damage right off the bat, so you're not worried about too much about getting the SATED Devourer. It's just an extra late game bonus when you get it. But yeah, on Master Yi, it feels pretty fucking strong, to be honest. And if you combine that with junglers who like to use Blade of Ruin King, Wit's End, etc., ooh, this might be some scary shit coming in that late game. So yeah, pretty happy about this buff. And also, this probably won't be something you get as a laner, because you need to farm the jungle to get these stacks. So no SATED Devourer mid lane, or top lane or whatever. And as far as the meta goes, I feel like you're going to see some Cinder Hulk junglers along with Devourer junglers going along too. So Shyvana, maybe in LCS versus like something like Gragas jungle. And then you're just going to see different playstyles from different teams, so it might make things a bit interesting. And if that were ever the case, I feel like the Devourer jungler would play more safe, wait till that late game to get super strong and like ward up, while the Cinder Hulk jungler would try and pressure the early game so they don't ever get to that late game phase. Oh, hey, maybe there also might be a Runeglaive meta going on in the jungle too, since the ability power is going up by 10 and the base attack damage ratio is going up to 1.0 instead of 0.75. Now it does suck that you can't use Luna's Echo with it anymore. Ezreal is abusing this really hard. But let's talk about this item in general. So the top 2 AP junglers right now is going to be Evelynn and Nidalee. Maybe some other AP junglers like Diana might show up, but I think that's highly unlikely. It's still going to be dominated by those 2. And as for mid lane, oh god, I feel like there's going to be a lot of mid laners taking Smite after this buff to the Runeglaive. Jesus Christ, what is going on in League right now? I honestly don't know. We did see Ninja bring out Runeglaive Diana mid, and it did look pretty good. So I could see something like Victor Runeglaive mid coming out, Twisted Fate, although I think he'd prefer Ghost and Flash, Smite mid AP Fizz, who knows honestly these days. But yeah, mid lane is gonna get really crazy with the Smite, and no, I don't know what the hell this game is anymore. Next up is going to be the Righteous Glory. As you can see, health is going down by 100 and cooldown is going up by 30 seconds. So I honestly don't think anyone's going to use this item anymore, because when this item had 500 hit point, people weren't really using it. That could honestly possibly be that, you know, people weren't aware of this item's power of initiating. On someone like Maokai, I do feel like it's still going to be good, but as for your average user, maybe not. Like personally me, I probably won't get this item anymore. For LCS, they'll probably still buy it, but for solo queue, I never really bought it, so why would I buy a nerfed item? Next up is going to be Spirit Visage, and as you can see, the healing bonus is now applied to all types of healing, so this means that champions who buy this item will be getting a late game or mid game buff depending when they buy it, of course. It's only a buff if they have someone like Nidalee or Soraka on their team to keep them sustained. So those champions are getting a buff, and as if, because I do feel like my Soraka is really good for solo queue, and I'm just going to encourage all my eyes to, you know, get Spear Visage if they can. Especially my AD carry. If they get Banshee's Veil, I say stop it, you dumb bitch, get that Spear Visage. Anyways, that's the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys did enjoy this video and you want to learn more about ability power items and what I think about them, and of course doing some math and analysis, I know you guys love that shit, so I put that in there. Click this square in the middle and you'll be redirected to that video. Anyways, thanks guys for watching this video. Make sure to leave a like if you actually did like this new format of these kind of videos, and comment below on what you guys think about DEVOURER and Tahm Kench, because I think Tahm Kench sucks, but I'm not sure. And yeah, I am Untitled Dragon, and I'll see you guys next time.